What did you think of Dylan Sampson on Saturday night as he becomes the all-time record holder for single-season touchdowns? Where does he rank among the best running backs in Tennessee football history? Because this just in, he's probably also going to break Gene McEver's all-time record for touchdowns. Caleb, I think he's about 6 away from that. We'll double-check on that as I remind you that the one and only Cooper Mays is a part of the program. Thanks to City Heating and Air Conditioning, City Heating and Air, cityheatandair.com. Integrity matters, 50 years in East Tennessee. Coop, what should people do?
Cooper Mays here. Hit like and subscribe. Coop here. First down.
All right. First down is this. NFL stars Jamal Lewis, Alvin Kamara, Arian Foster, Charlie Garner. Is he better than those 4? Is that the question you have for me? Because I'm going to have some pushback if you tell me that Dylan Sampson's better than those 4.
So I'm making the case that Dylan Sampson could go down as the greatest running back in Tennessee history, guys. And I'm separating the type of running backs that are greatness based on your NFL production, your college productivity, and those things. So we're starting with guys that are more legendary for their NFL production. And so I named Jamal Lewis, Arian Foster, Alvin Kamara, and Charlie Garner. David, it's safe to say all 4 of those running backs are more famous for their exploits in the pros than they are in college.
Well, if you include Arian Foster's fumbling, then he's probably well-known in college. No, I'm joking. Yes, all 4 of those better in pro than college.
Correct. I think that Dylan Sampson as a Tennessee running back could be greater than them, but he's also going to be very good in the pros. I look at, of those 4, Alvin Kamara. Dave, do you see any reason Dylan Sampson can't beat Alvin Kamara in the NFL at this point?
I think he could. I think he definitely could.
And is Alvin Kamara not on the level of Jamal Lewis in terms of great running backs in NFL history? Just a different type of player?
I have trouble comparing anybody to J-Lou because he was such a physical freak. And let's remember that he's only one of 8 players, I believe, to rush for 2,000 yards. So if you just want to talk about, I've got one season, I've got one game, Jamal Lewis is my guy. If you want to talk about consistency over years, then I could make an argument for Charlie Garner, Arian Foster, Alvin Kamara. But to me, Jamal Lewis, perhaps it's because I saw him run a 4.32 in person at 245 pounds. Perhaps that's the reason, but to me, he's on an entirely different level than Samson and the rest of these dudes.
Yeah, maybe on a raw talent, but I'm going to be honest with you, Dave, comparing all these guys, and we're going to go to some other ones. I don't think Jamal Lewis ever ran that hard, honestly.
Tennessee?
Well, at least since after his injury, and he didn't, and he didn't run hard a lot of times in the NFL either. Jamal Lewis,
I don't think he ran hard at Tennessee. So if you want to compare what he did at Tennessee to what Dylan Sampson did, there is no comparison.
Well, I was also going to make the case that, look, Jamal Lewis is somewhat of what could have been because, let's see, at the ACL, was it an ACL injury in 98 that knocked him out?
Yes.
And then he had a season-ending injury in 2001 before he had his 2,000 yards. So we're kind of asking what he could have been in the NFL if he didn't deal with season-ending injuries multiple times. He had 3 in his career, if I'm not mistaken.
No,
including one in college.
Fair.
So,
to me, Jamal, when he wanted it. Now, if you want to talk about the approach, then I'll take Dylan Sampson over Jamal Lewis. I think Jamal Lewis did save himself for the NFL. You pointed that out multiple times. I think he was a special running back, but there's a little bit of what if with him. But as far as being a leader, as far as knowing the individuals like I do, covering both of them, it's not a knock on Jamal, but I take Dylan Sampson. I don't think it's close.
Cooper Mays here. Second down.
All right, second down is this. All-time school rushing leaders, Travis Henry, Travis Stevens, James Stewart, Jay Graham. Would you take any of those guys over Dylan Sampson, or would you take Dylan Sampson?
Yeah, and guys, for the reason I named these 4 specifically, Travis Stevens has the all-time rushing record for a single season. Jay Graham is second. James Stewart has the all-time rushing record for career. I'm sorry, Travis Henry has the all-time rushing record for career yards. James Stewart is second. I would certainly take him over Jay Graham and James Stewart. Jay Graham and Travis Stevens. I know we have a lot of respect for what they did, Dave. I think they were total products of their offensive line. Jay Graham and Travis Stevens were. That you covered that 2001 team where Travis Stevens gets all the praise in the world. He had some of the biggest holes you'll ever see, didn't he, though? during that time.
Oh, he did that. And listen, it's not close. For those of you that think that Travis Stevens is better than Dylan Sampson, it's just not close. Dylan Sampson could have done everything that Travis Stevens did in 2001 and more.
Yeah, he could have. And the big thing, that the underrated part of the 2001 team was Travis Stevens ran behind Will Bartholomew, who wasn't an NFL player, but one of the best blocking fullbacks you could ever have at the college level. And yeah, and I think the same is for Jay Graham, because you actually saw this. There was a big drop off in Jay Graham's rushing from 95 to 96 after 4 offensive linemen went to the NFL. And James Stewart ran behind that same offensive line. Now, you could maybe make a case with Travis Henry, because Travis Henry ran so hard. I mean, it was the most obvious. I think 100% of the time there was a 3rd and 1, Travis Henry was getting you the first down. But Dave, you tell me, did Travis Henry have Dylan Sampson's breakaway speed? Like, if he got into the open field, could you be sure he'd score a touchdown the way you are with Dylan Sampson?
No, but I'm going to go ahead and say right now that I would take the cheese over Dylan Sampson. I thought he punished people. I thought he ran hard and opened things up later in the game. I think that Travis Henry is the one on that list that I would take over Dylan Sampson. No offense to Dylan Sampson. I'm
not here to disagree with you on it overall, but and again, Travis Henry ran extremely hard and he did punish people, significantly so. The most notable game of that is the 98 Arkansas game, when they get the ball back after the fumble and they're like, we're not even putting the ball in the air. Travis Henry had worn them down to a point that they were just like, let's hand it off every single play.
9 straight plays, if I recall correctly. I think somebody wrote a book about that. If you want to purchase it, it's available on offthehooksports.com in the merch shop.
And you're right. And Travis Henry is my favorite running back to ever watch at Tennessee because of how hard he ran, honestly. And he was almost impossible to tackle. So I'm here to listen to Travis Henry. I just like Dylan Sampson's elusiveness to a certain degree.
I get that. And he's a power back, and it's a different era. Maybe he wouldn't be as good or fast to the hole. Maybe he wouldn't read the offense this well, although I don't think it's really difficult. You're usually A or B gaps, pretty simple.
Tennessee center Cooper Mays here. 3rd down. All
right, 3rd down is this. And again, 4 downs brought to you by Medicare Misty. Other legendary backs, Johnny Jones, my all-time favorite. I go ahead and tell you that D-Samp's better than him. Chuck Webb, no. Chuck Webb, if healthy, would have been better than most of the guys we've talked about. Tony Thompson, no offense, Tony. D-Samp's better. Reggie Cobb, no offense, D-Samp. To me, Reggie Cobb is much better.
Okay, you have me with Chuck Webb, but the truth of the matter is Chuck Webb did suffer those injuries. So, like, we're talking about what could have been with him. And so we have to be fair on that. So, but I mean, Chuck Webb was probably the best running back Tennessee ever had. And he Dave, let's be honest, I've seen highlights. He may have gone down as the greatest running back in history if he made the NFL. He was so elusive. I mean, he was Adrian Peterson before Adrian Peterson. Is that fair to say?
Yes, but let's remember this. Reggie Cobb was sort of in that vein as well. He had the drug problem that got him kicked off at Tennessee, and then he still had an okay career, even though I'm not sure he was entirely clean.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard. Here's why I have to kind of knock both of them a little bit, Dave. And don't get me wrong, the interior offensive line is great now too, but Reggie Cobb is kicked off the team in 89. Chuck Webb becomes a star. Chuck Webb then suffers that injury early 91. What happened? Early 1990. What happens? Tony Thompson comes in and he becomes an all-SEC running back. And Tony Thompson was not a SEC starting caliber running back. That offensive line was just that good. I mean, you were running behind, what were the names? Charles McRae and Anton Davis. And just, I mean, wasn't it the most massive offensive line Tennessee had ever had during that time period? And so I think you and I could have gotten 1,000 yards that year.
Maybe 600. Line. Maybe 600. Let's get to 4 downs. The 4th down brought to you by Medicare Misty.
19 years this year. I've been in the community since 1993. You're getting a lot of information. Unlike when you were working, they made the choice for you. Now you have to make the choice. Come to us and let us help you make it easy. Call Medicare Misty, MedicareMisty.com or 423-777-5577. Let us help them sleep at night.
And we call her Medicare Misty.
SEC center Cooper Mays here. 4th down.
Where will Dylan Sampson finish among all-time running backs? Is this just our opinion, or is this rushing yards? Where are we going with this?
Our opinion and greatness. Go ahead, Dave.
Top 3. You got number 1, top 3, top 5, top 10. top 3 for me. Lock right now. And I'm going to say it's top 3. Now, are we doing this based off the production at Tennessee or just
based off production at Tennessee? Based off production, greatness, based off, greatness at Tennessee.
Okay. I would say that to me, Dylan Sampson is one of the top 3 running backs of all time at Tennessee. And right now, my top 3 based off of production at Tennessee would probably be Samson, Travis Henry, and I'm going to go one that's a little bit off schedule. I'm going to say Chuck Webb, which I know he didn't have the production at Tennessee because of the injury, but I'm going to say that I watched him and I just think he was a special tailback before his injury. So I kind of sidestepped your question. I hate to do that.
It's going to be number 1. And because Dylan Sampson is on track after Saturday, is now on pace to break Travis Stevens' single season all-time rushing record too. When you look at the end of the season and you see Dylan Sampson is the all-time careers leader in touchdowns, the all-time single seasons leader in touchdowns, and the all-time single season leader in yards, production, I'm sorry, he's going to be number 1. He's going to be number 1 in Tennessee history. By the way, and for those who don't know, running back, deepest position in Tennessee history. Forget wide receiver U. They're running back U if you look at their running back track record.
Or O-line U. But I would agree. Yeah. Wide receiver U is actually, or tight end U with this guy, Jacob Warren. Look at him. Jacob, brought to you by Peak IV Hydration. We'll talk more about them. How are you, Jacob? What do you think about Dylan Sampson being one of the top 3 or best running backs of all time?
Yeah, I'd love to join the conversation. You guys be talking about it because it was for sure something that I wanted to say and be able to talk about. But we talked about it at the beginning of the season whenever he was, through 2-3 touchdowns a game, 4 touchdowns a game, just having a really good start of his season. And we were sitting here talking about it like, well, he really could, reach these numbers and reach the record and all this other stuff. And I mean, he's done it at 8 games, right? So, it's insane. It's amazing. You guys know how I feel. You know how I speak about him and how highly I think of him. So it was awesome to see him do it. And the way he did it too, man, the second touchdown he scored was just awesome. It almost the rest may have, kind of let him have it a little bit, let him play it out a little bit to see what happens. But we saw Nico behind him pushing him. We saw tight ends behind him pushing him. All the offensive line was supporting him, trying to get him in the end zone. Man, that just shows what it means to him and to this team and just kind of the person that he is. So.
Well, and I think too, Jacob, you have to factor in his leadership, which I've talked to Cooper about more than you, but I haven't heard of many running backs being tabbed as great leaders.
Yeah.
But he said that early about Dylan Sampson. So to me, that stands out. That's a tough position to be a leader at. It's not like quarterback.
Yeah. My opinion on it, honestly, is I wouldn't say I'll disagree with you saying it's a tough position to lead from. I think I know what you're saying. You're more or less saying you see that less often from your running backs rather than a quarterback. It's almost obvious for a quarterback to be your leader, but to me, it makes a lot of sense for a running back to be your leader. Like, I think there's a lot of accountability that comes with being the running back, right? I think a lot of, I don't know, I'm trying to explain it and how my mind's working, but he trusts a lot of people, right? He puts trust in the O-lineman, he puts trust in the quarterback, but he's also relied upon to be that guy that, you want your leader, you want your top dog, you want the one person that's in front of the team all the time to be the one that you hand that ball off for him to go get whatever you guys need to get, right? I think that's a cool dynamic that he has, is like, there's really no question who wants the ball on 3rd and short and who we want to give the ball to on 3rd and short. It's pretty obvious, right? I think, that's a cool place to be. And for him to be able to be at the front of all of it and say, yeah, like, put that on me, like, put it on my back, put it in my hands. Like, I am leader of this team. I will literally carry us, right? But I'll carry us to this success, whatever it may be. And he's done it literally every single week. So like, it's awesome that, Coop obviously thinks very highly of him as a leader, but being on that leadership council for a few years, like, from the moment he stepped into the room, he was one of our kind of, younger guys. We were trying to teach him how to be a leader, but he was one of those guys that you didn't really have to teach him much. You know what I'm saying? He kind of just stepped in and was very confident, was very, knowledgeable, understand who he was, and was just happy to be a part of our team. And now he is, he's the bell cow. So
Absolutely.